Imagine waking up tomorrow and deciding you want to look like literally anyone. Your favorite celebrity? Done. A superhero? Easy. What if you could snap your fingers and bam? New face, new body, new everything. It sounds like something straight out of a comic book, right? But what if it was real? In this video, we're diving deep into what would happen if we could change our appearance at will. We're going to look at every angle from the awesome to the awful, so stick around because this is going to be an epic journey into a world you've only dreamed of. Alright, let's kick things off with the most obvious and maybe the most fun part: instant transformations. Imagine you roll out of bed, look in the mirror, and you're like, no, not feeling this today. Instead of sighing and just dealing with it, you simply think about the look you want, and boom! You've got bright blue hair, or you're suddenly 7 feet tall, or you look like your favorite movie star. The sheer power of that is mind-blowing. No more bad hair days, no more wishing you had different colored eyes, no more feeling insecure about that one feature you've always disliked. Think about the fashion industry. It would be turned completely on its head. You could change your entire body structure to fit into any outfit you desire. Designers could create clothes for body shapes that don't even exist naturally right now. Imagine a fashion show where the models transform their appearance with every single outfit they wear. People would be walking works of art, constantly shifting and changing. Your personal style wouldn't just be about clothes anymore. It would be about your entire being. And what about self-expression? This would take it to a whole new dimension. Feeling like a rock star today? Morph into one. Want to experience life as someone completely different for a day, just to see what it's like? You could do it. The level of customization would be infinite. You could have wings one day, scales the next, maybe even glow-in-the-dark skin if you wanted. The world would become a living, breathing art project. Cosplay would reach levels we can't even comprehend. You wouldn't just be as your favorite character, you would become them, down to the smallest detail. Imagine conventions filled with perfect living replicas of characters from movies, games, and comics. The line between fantasy and reality would blur in the most incredible way. It would be an absolute paradise for fans and creators alike, pushing the boundaries of imagination and bringing fictional worlds to life like never before. Okay, so looking cool and changing your style every 5 minutes is awesome. But what if this power went beyond just the surface? What if changing your appearance at will came with unbelievable health benefits? I'm talking about stuff that would make doctors and scientists lose their minds. Think about weight loss or muscle gain. People spend years, decades, their whole lives sometimes, struggling with these things. Diets, brutal workout routines, expensive surgeries. What if you could just have less body fat and poof, it's gone? Or you want to be built like a tank, snap your fingers and welcome to the gun show. But let's go deeper than just muscles and fat. What if you could regenerate cells at will? Got a nasty cut? Heal it instantly. Broken bone? Mend it in seconds. This isn't just about convenience, it's about overcoming injuries that could otherwise be life-altering or even fatal. Athletes could recover from career-ending injuries in moments. People in accidents could walk away unscathed by simply resetting their physical form to its optimal state. And what about diseases? This is where it gets really nuts. Could you command your body to fight off infections instantly? Could you reshape your immune cells to be super soldiers against viruses and bacteria? What if you could identify cancerous cells and just delete them or transform them back into healthy cells? We're talking about the potential eradication of diseases that have plagued humanity for centuries. The concept of aging itself could become a thing of the past. Wrinkles, gone, grey hair, repigmented, failing organs. Regenerate them to be brand new. You could essentially hit the reset button on your biological clock whenever you wanted. Would people choose to live for hundreds, even thousands of years, maintaining a youthful appearance and perfect health? The medical profession would undergo a complete transformation. From instant six-packs to defeating deadly diseases and even conquering aging, the power to change our appearance at will could mean a golden age of human health and longevity. All right, we've covered looking awesome and feeling amazing, but How would this insane ability to change our appearance at will mess with, like, everything in society, our social interactions, our relationships, even how we trust each other? It would all be thrown into a giant blender. Imagine trying to navigate a world where nobody looks the same from one day to the next. How do you trust someone if they can look like a completely different person tomorrow? Is that friendly person you met yesterday the same individual today, just with a new face? Or is it someone else entirely impersonating them? This could lead to some serious paranoia. Handshakes might be replaced with DNA scanners just to confirm identity. Relationships, both platonic and romantic, would face a whole new layer of complexity. Honey, I love you, but are you really you today? Dating would be an absolute minefield, or maybe an exciting adventure, depending on your perspective. People could literally tailor their appearance to attract a specific person or to fit a certain type. Would this lead to more superficial connections, or would people be forced to look deeper, beyond the ever-changing physical, to connect on a more fundamental level? The concept of catfishing would be taken to an extreme, almost undetectable level. You'd need some serious emotional intelligence to navigate that scene. What about first impressions? They say you never get a second chance to make one, but if you can change your appearance instantly, you could theoretically have infinite first impressions. Would this devalue them? Or would people put even more effort into crafting the perfect momentary look for every new encounter? Job interviews could become a showcase of adaptive camouflage, with candidates morphing into what they think the interviewer wants to see. Social status and hierarchy could also get a massive shake-up. Would original, unchanged appearances become a status symbol, a sign of authenticity or even defiance? Or would the ability to afford the most elaborate or trendy transformations become the new way to show off wealth and power? Ultimately, the ability to change appearance at will wouldn't just change individuals, it would fundamentally alter how humanity itself interacts and organizes. So we can look like anyone, we can be super healthy, and society is in beautiful chaos. But what about our minds? What does the ability to constantly change your physical self do to your brain, your sense of identity, your self-esteem? This is where things get deep and potentially a bit dark. The biggest question is, who are you if your appearance is completely fluid? Our looks are so tied to our sense of self, our memories, how others perceive and remember us. If you change your face every day, does your core identity remain stable, or does it start to fragment? Could you literally forget who the real you is, or if there even is a real you anymore? This could lead to profound existential crises for a lot of people. Self-esteem is another huge one. On the one hand, you'd think being able to achieve your ideal look instantly would be a massive confidence booster. No more insecurities about your nose, your height, your weight. You could be perfect all the time, but what if that perfect keeps changing? What if you're constantly chasing an ever-shifting standard of beauty? Or comparing your transformations to others, it could lead to a new kind of body dysmorphia, where no appearance ever feels good enough. Imagine the pressure. If you can look like anyone, there might be an implicit expectation to always look your best, or to constantly innovate your appearance to stay interesting or relevant. This could be exhausting. We've explored the fun, the healthy, the social, and the psychological, but now we have to talk about the really heavy stuff, the ethics. With a power this massive, the ability to change our appearance at will. Who gets to use it? Who controls it? And what does it mean for our society's values, our laws, and even our definition of what it means to be human? First and foremost, accessibility. Is this an ability that everyone on Earth suddenly develops, like a new stage of evolution? Or is it a technology, something invented and potentially controlled by a select few governments, corporations, or the ultra-rich? If it's the latter, you can bet your last dollar it would create the biggest social divide in human history. The morphs and the naturals, the haves and have-nots of physical transformation. Then there's the potential for misuse, and boy is it huge. We touched on crime, but think bigger. Impersonation on a global scale. Imagine a world leader being replaced by an imposter with an identical appearance. Espionage would become almost impossible to defend against. Fraudsters could empty bank accounts, ruin reputations, and disappear without a trace. How do you establish accountability when the perpetrator can literally vanish by becoming someone else? This leads to the question of regulation. Would governments try to control how and when people can change? Would there be appearance licenses or restrictions on certain transformations? Sorry, sir, you can't look like the president today. That's a restricted form. It sounds ridiculous, but without some kind of oversight, society could descend into chaos. But then, who decides these rules? And wouldn't that be an infringement on personal freedom if this is an innate ability? What about the very definition of human? If we can alter our bodies to have wings, gills, extra limbs, or even non-biological features, at what point do we stop being traditionally human? These ethical considerations are massive, and there are no easy answers. Wow, okay, so we've been on a wild ride, haven't we? We've imagined a world where changing your appearance is as easy as thinking, from the insane instant makeovers and mind-blowing health upgrades to the complete upheaval of our social lives, the deep psychological twists and turns, and those huge brain-melting ethical dilemmas. It's clear that this power would change literally everything about being human, for better or for worse, or probably a crazy mix of both. So, the big question is, what do you think? If you had this power, would you use it? What's the very first thing you'd change about yourself? Or would you be too scared of the consequences? I genuinely want to know what you guys would do. Drop your wildest ideas and your biggest concerns in the comments below. And hey, if your brain is still buzzing from all this and you want to explore more insane what-if scenarios with us, do me a solid, smash that like button, hit subscribe and ding that notification bell so you don't miss a single future video. Ultimately, the ability to change our appearance at will is a fascinating lens through which to examine who we are, what we value, and what we want to become. It makes you think about identity, society, and the incredible, sometimes terrifying, potential that lies within the concept of change. Stay curious, keep questioning everything, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll blow your minds all over again.